Hello and welcome to lesson number 10, mock tests and practice, part 3 complete. Here we are at the final lesson. For the first part of the lesson, we are going to focus on part 3 questions and practice, and then we are going to do an uninterrupted, complete mock test going through part 1, part 2, and then part 3. Let's do this. You know my name by now. I am Jonathan. I have been leading you through all these lessons from 1 to 10. This is the last that you'll see of me today in terms of this course. And hopefully you've learned so much over the last 10 lessons. The learning outcome for the final one is to improve that spoken fluency again. You'll be able to replicate the real test conditions for part 3 and then of course for part 1, 2 and 3 together. Hopefully also you will improve your time management so you know how to answer those part 3 questions in the right time limit. Being well prepared in terms of the timing and how you structure all of your answers is going to be a key aspect in you getting the IELTS score that you want. Are you ready? So today's lesson is going to work like this. You'll have a final preparation for part 3 questions. You're going to do part 3 practice for just one question of part 3. Then you are going to do part 3 practice, a complete set of questions, not once but twice, 2 repetitions. And then finally we're going to finish off with a mock test part 1, 2 and 3 with no pauses in between to replicate real test conditions. First of all, we need to be reminded about how part 3 works. Part 3 should last between 4 to 5 minutes. The examiner will ask you questions related to the topic discussed in part 2, and you should respond in a conversational manner. I think you should expect a minimum of 4 questions in part 3. You may have to answer 5 or 6. The questions are going to be more complex. They're going to require you to discuss abstract or broader issues related to that part 2 topic. So you do have to go deeper into the theme and you have to express your opinions and provide explanations throughout all your answers. It is a discussion, not just a series of questions like part 1, so you should engage back and forth with the examiner. If there are any questions or any vocabulary within the questions that you do not understand, feel free to ask for clarification. Unlike part 2, there is no preparation time. There's nothing for you to look at and to read and to prepare your answer. The questions will be asked you straight away and you're just expected to go straight into that discussion. Remember, vocabulary and cohesion will help you get the high scores. So using a wide range of vocabulary, complex sentence structures and cohesive devices to express your ideas clearly. This is an opportunity for you to demonstrate your ability to discuss abstract topics effectively. Good luck. Now, before we do mock test practice, let's just do a warm-up for part 3. I want you to familiarize yourself with how part 3 works. So for these 6 questions on your screen, do not worry about time limit, just get into the right frame of mind to answer those part 3 questions. There is a question on your screen now. How has technology transformed our daily lives? So I want you just to look at the question and think about how would you answer that in part 3. List 2 points you can discuss when answering the question. So if you do think it has changed our daily lives, say 1 point as to why it has, and then another point as to why it has. Provide some examples and evidence to back up those points, and then try to think of some transition words, some cohesive devices to link your answer together. Once you've done those answers to 2, 3 and 4, I want you to do the same for the second question. What role do personal habits play in maintaining good health? Once again, do not worry about time, just speak about them, just plan how you would answer those questions by looking at points 2, 3 and 4. Once you have finished, you can come back to the video. We are going to do one question practice. So before we do a full set of part 3 questions, you're going to answer just one question. Usually there will be 4 to 6 questions. but we're only going to focus on the one now. It is similar to the practice we have finished before, but this time we are going to put a timer on it. So I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to answer straight away. I'm going to give you a maximum of 1 minute 15 seconds, but don't worry if you finish your answer way before I stop. After we do this question, we are going to do an official mock test of part 3 with a full section. Okay, welcome to the one question only mock tests. I wish it was only one question in real life, but unfortunately, of course, it is more questions. But let's just focus on one answer. On your screen is that question. What factors contribute to job satisfaction? You can now give your answer and I will tell you when 1 minute and 15 seconds has finished. You can now begin. The time is now up. You may have answered your question in less than 1 minute 15 seconds. That's absolutely fine, but it should be at least 45 seconds long. So, how did you cope with a part 3 question? It is a bit more difficult. Hopefully you were able to have some sort of structure in your answer. You talk about one point, additionally another point, or a contrasting point, and you were able to provide examples and details in your answer, so you were able to speak for about 1 minute in length. But now it's time for you to reflect on that. So look at questions 1, 2, and 3. Was it clear and well structured, your response? Did you use relevant and specific examples to support your points? And how can you improve your answers in the next practice when we do a full section? I really feel it's important that you reflect throughout the mock test to see how you're doing well and things you can improve on. So please do take this seriously. Once you have finished this reflection, you can come back to the video. Okay, welcome back. We're now going to do a complete practice of part 3. There is no time between questions. I'm going to ask you questions back and forth for the next 4 to 5 minutes. So expect 4 to 6 questions to be asked, and each answer should range between 40 seconds to 1 minute 20 seconds. My pause between each question will be about 1 minute to 1 minute 20 seconds. The questions will all be in a similar topic, so you need to have a wide range of vocabulary to discuss all possibilities. Always remember to structure every answer and provide details, examples, and evidence throughout your answers. Once you are ready, we can now begin the full mock test of part 3. Welcome to part 3 of the mock test. Let's begin. How has modern life contributed to the increase in stress among individuals in your country? What are some effective strategies for managing stress in a professional setting? In what ways can employers help reduce workplace stress for their employees? Do you think technological advancements have had a positive or negative impact on stress levels in society? How does cultural or societal pressure affect an individual's stress levels and overall well-being? That is the end of mock test part 3. Well done. Welcome back. Well done on doing the part 3 questions, the entire section. How did you find it? It's not easy. In my opinion, it's the most difficult part of the test. The ability to answer questions back and forth that are quite complex, it's not easy. And trying to keep that structure in place at all times. But now it's time for you to reflect on how you did. So answer those 2 questions on the screen now. What strategies or approaches did you find most effective in addressing your questions consecutively? And how would you further improve your response strategy in similar scenarios? And question number 2, how did the progression from one question to the next influence your thought process and your ability to maintain coherence in your answers? So how did you do? Take some time now to reflect on those 2 questions. Once you have finished, come back to the video and we're going to do it all over again. But before we do it again, have a break. Have a small break, relax, drink some water, and once you have done that small break, you can come back and we'll go ahead and we'll do the next set of part 3 questions. So we're going to do another part 3 section. Remember, practice makes perfect. So have your break, and when you come back to the video, we're going to go straight into another mock test for part 3. Welcome to mock test part 3. This is our second attempt. Let's begin. In a world where we're increasingly connected through technology, how important is face-to-face interaction when it comes to meeting new people? What cultural differences should individuals be aware of when meeting new people from different countries or backgrounds? How do people's social skills and confidence levels influence their success in meeting new people and building relationships? Are there any situations where meeting new people might be more challenging or intimidating? How can individuals overcome such challenges? In professional contexts, such as networking or job interviews, what strategies can people use to leave a positive impression when meeting new contacts? Time is up. That is the end of the part 3 section. Well done. Welcome back. Well done on doing another full part 3 section. Now you have my permission to relax. But don't relax for too long because we're going to go for one more time. And I don't just mean part 3 questions, I mean part 1, part 2, part 3, all of them combined. So this is your official mock test. There's going to be no pauses in between. We're going to try and replicate the test as much as we possibly can. So let's give it one big final push. Once you have relaxed and you're ready to go, come back to the video. I will see you shortly. Okay, we're now going to begin the full mock test. Let's do this. Welcome to your mock test, the complete edition. We're going to begin with part 1. Can you tell me your full name, please? What does your name mean? Is there a story behind it? Let's talk about your hometown. Describe the place where you grew up. What do you like most about your hometown? Are there any famous landmarks or tourist attractions in your hometown? What are some traditional dishes or foods from your hometown? Can you share a special childhood memory related to your hometown? Did you have a favorite teacher when you were in school? Tell me about your teacher. In your opinion, what makes a teacher effective? Do you think teachers today face different challenges compared to teachers in the past? If so, what are those challenges? That is the end of part 1. Welcome to part 2 of the mock test complete edition. You have a question on your screen now. You have 1 minute to write notes and to prepare the answer. Your 1 minute starts now. One minute is now up. You now have 1 to 2 minutes to provide your answer. I will stop you at 2 minutes. Your time starts now. Your time is now up. That is the end of the Part 2 section. Welcome to the Part 3 of the Mock Test Complete Edition. Let's begin. What role do cultural or societal expectations play in gift giving in your country? How have the types of gifts people give and receive changed over the years? Do you think the value of a gift is determined by its material worth or the thought behind it? In what ways does giving and receiving gifts affect personal relationships? Are there any cultural customs or traditions in your country related to gift giving that you find particularly interesting or unique? That is the end of the Part 3 section, and it also concludes the entire mock test. Well done. So there you have it, a complete mock test. Now it's time for you to reflect on how you did. What aspects of your speaking performance do you feel most confident about after completing that mock test, and why? And what challenges did you encounter during the mock test? And how do you plan to address those and improve upon these areas in future practice? Take some time now to reflect on those two questions on your screen. Once you're finished, come back to the video. You have just reflected on your mock test, but now I would like you to reflect on the entire course and also think about the next steps. So have a look at the questions on your screen now. Questions 1, 2 and 3 will ask you about what insights you learned, what improvements have you made during the entire course, how has your speaking improved. Also, it will ask you about specific activities or lessons that contributed the most to your development, and what techniques you've used throughout this course that have been most effective, and how will you continue to apply them in ongoing practice. Once you've done questions 1, 2 and 3, number 4 is about looking ahead. What are your next steps and goals for further enhancing your IELTS speaking proficiency? Once you've given some time to reflect on those 4 questions, you can come back to the video. Welcome back to the video. Well done on reflecting on what you've learned throughout the course, and also predicting what you would do in the next steps. Here is what I think you should do next. So if possible, I would consider booking private lessons with me on Immerse English or a qualified IELTS tutor and receive personalized feedback and guidance. Of course, I do these lessons as live lessons with groups of students. They can get personalized feedback throughout the course. But if you studied individually by yourself, do consider having those private lessons just to give you that extra bit of confidence and an extra bit of individualized feedback. From now to your test, I want you to continue that regular practice. So continue practicing speaking by participating in online speaking clubs, engage conversations with other speakers, native speakers if possible, or even practice with language exchange partners. As long as you're practicing, that is the most important. From now to the exam, I also want you to expand your vocabulary. You've probably learned a lot throughout the last 10 lessons, but there's still more for you to learn. So invest time in expanding your vocabulary. Do a lot of reading, do a lot of listening, learn words by an app maybe that are common to IELTS topics. Speaking of listening, that is another tip. To improve your English speaking, we also need to listen. So listen to podcasts or watch TV series, anything that will help you with your speaking. And finally, join mock tests. Take advantage of the mock IELTS speaking test to assess your progress and identify areas that require further improvement. There's so many online tests out there. You can also watch content of people doing online tests. So you can practice as much as you possibly can. This will help you so much. So it goes without saying my tips for self-study between now and your exam date. Check out online content, review all the notes you've made over the last 10 lessons, and put everything you learned into practice. That is the end of the course. So thank you so much for your participation. And I really do hope that you've improved so much over these 10 lessons and you've gained such valuable insight from the lessons. So remember the success factors. Remember what you wanted to achieve at the very beginning of the course. Have you been able to achieve it? Have you been able to develop fluency, improve that vocabulary, enhance that confidence? If you've done that, you've reached the success that you wanted to. Now it's just about putting it into practice and practicing all the time so you're more than ready to do that test. I encourage you to continue your practice. The end of the course doesn't mean the end of your learning. It doesn't mean tomorrow you're absolutely fine for your test. I want you to practice as much as possible and research more and listen more and immerse yourself in English as much as possible between now and the exam date. And I wish you success. If you've participated and interacted really well throughout this course then I know that you would have improved your English to a level that you want. If you're reaching a 6.5 or 7 or higher, I think after this course you can certainly achieve that. So I really do wish for your success, and please do reach out to me and let me know how you do in your IELTS speaking exam. And finally, I can provide you feedback and support between now and then, and even after your exam. Contact me on Immerse English and I'll be there to help you with your IELTS speaking and also other aspects of the IELTS exam. There's nothing else for me to say apart from well done for your contribution over the last 10 lessons. Are you ready now for your IELTS exam? I hope the answer is yes. Any questions, you know where to contact me. All the best, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.